Okay, so for this video, I just pray that what comes through is going to be helpful, is going to glorify the God of our lives in some way, shape, or form to the best of my ability. So I'm going to have a particular topic, and we'll just literally choose. Okay, so welcome to this video. I'm on here on the moment on Love Lighthouse, and I want to draw attention to this podcast that I have as well. So do join the podcast. It will be linked here so that you can join that at some point later on. I look forward to sharing with you on that. So it's updated usually at least once a week. It hasn't been updated since the end of May, I believe. So it's actually quite late at the moment, but I'm looking forward to getting back on track with that today. I've already added something recently just to get back with that. Okay, I'm looking here at this particular verse, and it's with regards to Joseph calling. Then sent Joseph and called his father Jacob to him, and all his kindred, 75 souls. So Jacob went down into Egypt and died, he and our fathers. And I just think this is interesting that it is Joseph who calls for the father. And that, after that time, that was when they went down to Egypt and Jacob died. He and our fathers, as it says here. So we know all about the different tribes of Israel, of Jacob, and how throughout even the lands now, there are these many tribes all over the world that are completely connected with James, with Yaakov, that is, okay? And, you know, it's interesting to think about this, because when we think about the fact that there are different tribes, okay, from Jacob himself, we have to see that almost like the varying degrees and differences of the church and all of these different tribes round about coming to various understandings, probably perhaps from various different other lands around the world, with different cultures, different ways of doing things, all trying to come back together into some sort of way of cooperating and understanding each other and doing the will of their father Jacob, and obviously the will of the ultimate father, therefore of God. So I want to really kind of like focus on that, and also how it's important in this time. Some of us, we're going to do this. We are humans, so we're going to do this sometimes. We're going to want to try and say, this is how this tribe does this. This is how this tribe tends to do this. And then people start to compare their different ways of doing things across the different tribes, in other words, across the different churches. Even although these churches are all God-based, they are comparing themselves, overly comparing themselves. Now, it's natural to do it, so we must have compassion upon ourselves. It's a natural thing. But it depends how far we actually take it. How far are we comparing? How much idolatry are we giving to that comparison mindset? Because that in itself is idolatry. If we are comparing ourselves, overly comparing ourselves with different types of tribes and different types of people, we're breaking down the Church of God into meaningless ways in which it does not require to be broken down into. It reminds me of today. I was speaking online with this particular group, and it's Catholicism and the Reformation. And the group there has someone who has their own show, and he is showing off what he has on his show, and I could only watch so much of it. I literally knew just from the title, so I didn't really watch it to begin with, and I could see what he was presenting. Now, his presentation was an attack. It was an attack against one of the tribes, one of the churches, the many churches under God, under Christ. And so many people were saying, this is all lies, this is all false, this, that, next thing. And this person presented what they were saying in such a way that they were saying they were representing other people from, this other church, this other tribe. And I have networks all across all of the churches. And I know throughout my entire life, I have never, in real life, never heard what they were suggesting. In my entire life, no one in my life across all the tribes and churches has ever said such a thing, has ever made such an attack on one of the particular people of, God. And so he continued to say, no, this is what every single person in this tribe does. They all do that. I'm saying, no, they do not. So we're in royal ancestry. I'm sovereign. I have a royal family. None of them have ever said this. No one that we know, no friends, no other people around from other places or tribes have ever said this. You are speaking lies. We have seen things alluding to the type of statement that he was making online from many, many years ago, kind of that sort of feeling towards a particular person under God. And I only saw that more recently, and again, it was something from many years ago, and the person had since reconciled and with the other group. So it was a long, long time ago. But no one else apart from that had been online, and of course this one person that was bringing all this into the group. So he continued to attack and attack and attack. Now, we have to remember that that type of behaviour is of the Antichrist. It's all written in Revelation. It is definitely in this part of the Bible which talks about how the devil comes down, is cast down, and he has been accusing the brethren day and night, night and day. And this is what was going on in the group. So you could already see that even although he was pointing, saying this is the Antichrist and accusing, he was the one that was actually doing all the behaviours that were very Antichrist. He says that he couldn't abide by an authority that was Antichrist. But the thing is, it's actually law that we must, under God, abide by the authority which God sets. So in any case, it's up to each of us to have a personal relationship with God as to how we manage that behaviour, that reciprocal understanding between our different partners in terms of our worldwide networks, how we cooperate and understand that, and how we live our lives based on the rules of society that we have come up with. So part 2 to come.